Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today I'm going to build this fully functional temporary wall right here. The wall is going to have a door right there. It's going to have these switches built into the wall, and it's going to have outlets. And when the time comes, I'm going to be able to take the entire wall out, and this is going to be one big room again. I'll talk about all that stuff as we go. The first thing I need to do is get all the wood cut. I've double checked on the dimensions, floor to ceiling and width, and everything appears to be correct. Hopefully it's correct because I'm going to cut everything to size right away. I took a few dimensions earlier of this area right here. You can see I got a little hash mark there and a little hash mark there. That's where the window trim and the door trim would go. But I'm not going to be putting that stuff in right away. I'll be putting some kind of a window trim in, but I won't be putting in the door trim. So what I decided to do was flush the wall up to the side of this 2x4, and it's going to end right here. And I'll work out all the trim and stuff later on. But on this side, I'm not 100% sure what we're going to cover the wall with. Paneling would be better, but it looks like drywall is going to be the cheapest option. We'll worry about that later. Right now, let's get this wall done. Okay, I worked out my cut list, and I had an issue right here, but got that fixed up. So this is it, 4 different things. The top and bottom plate are sitting outside. They've been there for a while. I got to bring that over there. And right away, I got to get this stuff cut up. This was the low scaffold that I used to put up the ceiling. This was the top boards on there. I'm going to cut these up, and that's going to be the stairway in the house at some point. Well, some point real soon, and I'll show you that as well. But for now, I'm going to take this and grab them boards and head across the street and get some stuff cut. Okay, I got my wood all staged. This is mostly the wood for the studs. I'm going to sight down each one of these, and the worst one is going to be cut into these spacers for the bottom and the jack studs. This is for the door header. That's just miscellaneous for whatever. And then we got these top and bottom plates. You could see this has a real nice hook to it. So what I'm going to do is use this for the bottom plate and this one for the top. I can't really pull the top straight the way I'm putting this in, but I can pull the bottom straight, and then once it's all in, a chunk of it's getting cut out for the door. So I need to make sure that I mark this for the bottom. Okay, let's get this stuff cut, and then I have my big 2x12s right there. I got to yank these out and figure out which one's going to be which. Once all this stuff is out of here, I'm going to lay both of those on the sawhorses, sight down them, figure out where I'm going to cut the stuff out of this, and get those cut as well, and I'll just stand them up and wait for that project. But we should have this project done today. Okay, I got all my wood cut and I brought it back over here. I got everything arranged from the room out of the way. The wall will actually come to here with it laying down. I need to take a straight edge from this stud and transfer it down to the floor. I got to do that on both sides, snap a chalk line, then build the wall, slide it that way a little bit, and then I'm going to take these are these spacers at the bottom. This height is not a standard height. There's going to be insulation and stuff on this floor in its final version, but we're not doing that right now. We're putting up a temporary wall. So these are going to go along that chalk line, and on this side there's going to be 3 bolts bolting them to the floor, and on this side 2 bolts bolting it to the floor. Then on these sides, this is unfinished right here, so I can screw the wall into these studs pretty much anywhere I want. I'll add shims, get it nice and plumb and flush and all that stuff. And then at the ceiling, I'll put in 1, 2, 3, 4 screws going up into the wood up there, and then that's it. When I take this wall out, I can fill them 4 holes, and you'll never see where this wall was. This wall is going to be fully functional. I'm going to transfer the wires for this switch. This is one of a 5-way switch. That is another one of a 5-way switch. I'm going to move these into the wall. The door is going to swing this way, so one of the switches is going to be right here somewhere, and this other one will be right next to the door. So as you open the door, the switch will be right here. Then when this wall goes away, all the switches will be back like they are, one by each door, and then there's a door back here built into the wall. When that's opened up, there'll be a switch. Well, the switch is going to be there regardless, but that's going to be a door going to a bedroom at some point, and you'll have a switch right there as well. Good, good, good. Oh, and there's going to be 3 outlets on this wall and 2 on this, or no, a single one on this wall, and those are going to be fed by these outlets. I'll show you how I'm going to do that a bit later, but for now, let's get this board laid out. Okay, I got my boards clamped together. They are oriented correctly, flush on this end. Now I'm going to take my square and transfer these lines all the way across and onto the sides just a bit. And then this is going to get flipped up this way, this will get flipped up that way. They'll be spread apart and those studs will be put in between. This doorway, I added a stud to either side of the doorway. I was going to do it with just a single stud because this is a temporary wall, but it's going to be in place for probably 2 years, so I don't want it real flimsy and all that stuff. So I added a stud to either side. So I have those marked out as well. But I'm not going to put in a jack stud, a stud that would come up underneath the header here. I'm just going to screw the header in from the side and then slap another stud onto either side. The reason being, this is not load bearing at all. All this is like a fancy Soji screen. It's just going to keep this area private, that's it. It's going to have a door, and I don't want it to wobble too much. And you'll be able to hang stuff on it. It'll be, for all intents and purposes, a normal wall. Everything will be functioning. It'll have outlets. It'll have the light switches, all of that stuff. and it will have a finish that's going to be able to come off a little bit later, but it's just not going to be permanent. With that said, let's get these lines laid out, get the lines snapped onto the floor, then I can break out the rotary hammer and get the anchors put in. Okay, I have everything laid out, including my little hash marks on the top and bottom. The top plate has these cripples included, which is here and here. And for these anchor blocks, if I just measure out on the floor, I have my chalk line in here already. If I measure out whatever this distance is to the door frame, in this case it's 92 5/8. If I measure from the wall to 92 5/8, it should leave this block about 1/4 inch shy, because this entire wall is 1/2 inch shy of the width of the room. So that's what I'm going to do to locate these. And then I'm going to put the bolt itself, roughly right there. I don't want to go too close to the end, but I want it to be underneath the studs on the side of the door for strength. So this one's going to go here, the other one's going to go in the middle, and actually I don't really need one on this side because I can screw it right through the wall into here. Yeah, the less the merrier. Yeah, I'll put in 2 and then 1, and then I can screw into the wall on that side as well. Yeah, much better. Okay, that's the plan. Let's get to it. Okay, everything is coming along real smooth. Now I'm at the point where I want to put in this very last stud, and this one needs to be machined. And you can see what I did back here. I drilled a recess and then drilled a nice good sized hole in there. And I'm going to take this off of here now. What I did, this is 14.3, and all I'm doing is extending the switch over to right next to the door here. This is a 4-way switch, so I have to use 2 wires on this, but basically it's the same thing, and I'm only extending it right into here. This door is going to swing this way, so that switch will be just out of the way of the door. And once the wall comes out, those switches will go right back where they were, and I'll redo all the trim and all that stuff, and it'll look completely different out here. All right, so I gotta hurry up on this. I gotta get this taken apart, get 2 wires connected to this, do all the drilling and stuff on the stud, and get those 2 attached. Then I gotta put the top plate on. So when it comes to standing this up, what I'm going to do is stand it up on the concrete floor on the far side of these. It's eventually going to go right on top of these, but I'll stand it up there, and then I'll pull these. These will have quite a bit of play. I'll pull them out, slip the wire through, and then as I'm putting them up, I'll have to pull the stud this way so that it goes over these screws right here. It shouldn't be too hard. Okay, let me get this switch wired and then we'll finish the framing. Okay, I got her all done. It's about 5:30. I really gotta knock off soon, but I can't just leave it like this. I'm gonna have to try to tip it up. So again, like I said, I'm gonna pull it this way a little bit and then tip it up against these blocks here, and then try to pull the studs inwards a bit and then thread the wire through the holes. Do that on both sides, and then I'm going to try to tip this up into place, and I'll throw a couple screws in it that'll hold it in place. It's not going to have many screws in it to start with, but I'll do some leveling, and I'm going to shim it at the top and shim it at both sides. But I don't think I'm going to be able to get to that today. But I do want to get this wall up, so let's give it a shot. And there you have it. The wall is in. This is only screwed in with a couple screws right there, and then I have a screw going into the door frame here and just have the wall clamped. It's like that on the other side as well, but it's pretty damn sturdy like that. So like I said, I will be screwing into the ones that are connected to the floor, and I'll flush it up dead flush with those. And then get a couple more blocks. These blocks right here, I'll tap those in nice and even, and then screw those in and 1, 2, possibly 4 screws up into the ceiling, which will be able to be puttied up later when I take this out and paint the ceiling and do the rest of the stuff in here. Gonna have built-in cabinets and a sink and all that stuff at some point, but for now, this is going to be a bedroom. So actually the first thing I gotta do tomorrow, I'm gonna drill this for the electrical, and I'm gonna run the wire over, get the box in, and wire that up right away. If the lights don't work, now's my chance to fix it. Once this is drywalled and stuff, it's gonna be impossible to fix. So if the lights don't work, I gotta take the wall down and see what the problem is. They should work though. And then, like I said, I will be running some outlets, 2 on that side, 1 on this side, and that's just gonna jumper into the existing circuit, which is super easy. Yeah, this is super nice. I'm glad this is done. It has been a very, very long day, and I got some stuff that I gotta run back over to the shed, so I'm gonna call it quits now. So I'll be finishing this up tomorrow, getting it plumbed, getting it screwed into place, cutting out this opening, all the stuff I just mentioned. I'll be doing it tomorrow. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.